Hello boys and girls and Stingray parents. We're going to look at the constant of proportionality. I know the constant of proportionality, it's a big word, it's a mouthful, I'll give you that. But we're going to work through this sample problem and we'll find out that it's really not that difficult. In fact, we already know what the constant proportionality is, we just know it by a different name. Well, let's look at the word problem. It says, if an ant crawls 4 yards in 2 minutes, I'm going to write down this data. I'm always telling you guys, if I turn the erase off, okay. It's important to organize your data. So I have 4 yards in 2 minutes. I'm just going to jot that down, organize my thoughts. These are the two things that are being compared. This is my ratio, 4 yards in 2 minutes. That's how fast the ant is traveling. What is the constant of proportionality? Now the constant proportionality means what is the rate between these two numbers, between, for every minute, how many yards am I going? Well, I can write an equation. I can say, okay, the yards of the ant is equal to something times my minutes, okay? And if we plug in this data, we know that the ant goes 4 yards. We don't know what that constant is yet, the constant proportionality. We're going to figure that out. But we know that he's traveling for 2 minutes. Okay, we want to figure out this constant. This is a one-step equation. We want to isolate the variable. So whatever's happening to our constant, whatever's happening to the variable, it's being multiplied by 2. We have to undo that or do the inverse operation. The inverse operation of multiplying something by 2 is dividing it by 2, and we know that this is an equation, so whatever we do to one side of the equation we must do to the other. So we end up dividing both sides by 2, and these cancel each other out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, and I don't need to write 1k down, that's ridiculous. And then we have 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our constant proportionality is 2. What does that mean? That means for every minute not me, but the ant is going to travel 2 yards. So we just took 4 yards and divided it by 2. Now we've done that before, and what do we call it? It's just simply the unit rate. Okay? These are the constant proportionality and the unit rate are pretty interchangeable, at least mathematically speaking. So let's even try graphing it here. If the ant travels, if the ant travels for 2 minutes, he's going to travel the distance of 4 yards. And if our constant is 2, that means we can do this a couple different ways. We can say, well, y is equal to the constant times m. Well, y is equal to 2 times now 3 minutes. So y is going to be 6. So 3 minutes will give the ant 6 yards to walk. Okay, and we could have even done this by setting up a proportion here. We would have just said, okay, 4 is to 2 as some number of yards is to 3. And we'd say, hey, well, if we're going from 2 to 3, what is that? That's 1. We're multiplying by 1.5. And what we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. And 1.5 of 4, sure enough, is going to be 6. Okay, but here's our little formula here. Our top term is equal to whatever this unit rate is times our bottom term. And the other neat thing about this too is if we graph this line like that, it goes through the origin. And if your line goes through the origin, it is a proportional line. So there you have it. Let's stop there for today. But when you hear constant and proportionality, it's simply the unit rate. Have a good day. Bye-bye.